Barcelona eyeing a €55 million raid on Manchester United for their top defender. Phil Foden to Real Madrid? Florentino Pérez is cooking up a monster offer for the City star. Ronaldo might actually be done with Saudi Arabia, and wait until you hear who could replace him. Tonali looking for a way out of Newcastle? All this and much more in today's episode. Slam that like button and let's dive into the maddest transfer rumors right now. Cristiano Ronaldo has officially drawn a line in the sand. The Portuguese superstar has gone into full boycott mode, refusing to play for Al Nassr and telling the hierarchy he's ready to pack his bags. The reason? He's furious. While rivals like Al Hilal are signing superstars and building a galaxy of talent, Al Nassr are acting like a quiet mid-table side. Ronaldo feels the owners have turned off the money tap, leaving him in a team that can't dominate. He came to Saudi Arabia to rewrite history, not to scrap for second place. But insiders whisper that this transfer inactivity is just a smokescreen. The real issue might be much simpler: money. Rumors are swirling that Ronaldo's astronomical wage payments have been delayed recently. Knowing how pragmatic Cristiano is, it's very likely his public anger about squad quality is actually code for, "Where is my cash?" For Ronaldo, a delayed payment is the ultimate red flag. Al Nassr's bosses, however, aren't backing down. Their patience has snapped. They've made it crystal clear: no player, not even the GOAT, dictates club policy. His job is to score goals, their job is to run the business. He can suggest a name, sure, but issuing ultimatums? That's over the line. And let's be real, Al Nassr's squad isn't exactly weak, plus they have him. He's on the biggest contract in sports history specifically to be the difference maker. Is he paid hundreds of millions to complain about his teammates or to drag the team to victory single-handedly? Right now, it looks like personal comfort matters more to him than the club's success. So we have a standoff. Ronaldo won't play. The club won't bow. A breakup seems inevitable. But here's the problem. Where does he go? The market for a 41-year-old on his wages is non-existent. Europe's elite have moved on. No top club will rebuild their tactics around a veteran who doesn't press. A romantic return to Sporting? Maybe. A PR stunt at a mid-table Premier League club? Unlikely. MLS? The salary cap makes that a nightmare. And don't forget the main goal: 1,000 career goals. He can say stats don't matter, but we know the truth: he's obsessed. To hit that milestone, he needs a team that steamrolls opponents and serves him 10 chances a game. He won't get that at a mid-table European side. Ironically, staying at Al Nassr and bullying the sheikhs into spending might be his only path to that 1,000th goal. It's a classic battle: ego versus the system. Ronaldo is used to the world revolving around him, but the Middle East plays by different rules. If he keeps sitting in protest, he risks ending up with no game time, no transfer, and no 1,000 goals. Liverpool have finally learned to get their priorities straight. No more leaving things until deadline day. The club is ready to meet the wage demands of one of their biggest assets. We're talking, of course, about Dominik SZOBOSZLAI. According to Team Talk, work on a new deal for the Hungarian has already kicked off at Anfield. And honestly, this is the most sensible news we've heard in weeks. The original plan was to wait until after the January window, but with the transfer noise settled, the hierarchy wants to move fast. SZOBOSZLAI has become arguably the most vital cog in Arne Slot's system. His versatility gives the manager total freedom, and his work rate allows him to cover multiple zones at once. But here's the thing: Dom has just over 2 years left on his deal. In modern football, that's the danger zone. If they don't renew him now, his value starts dropping next summer while the pressure ramps up. The club knows this and is ready to bump him into the elite wage bracket. Let's talk numbers. I know you guys love the details. SZOBOSZLAI's camp is reportedly asking for around £250,000 a week. Sounds massive, right? But look at the context. It's completely reasonable for a player of his status. For comparison, Florian Wirtz is on £200,000 and Alexander Isak is on £280,000. So the Hungarian's demand fits perfectly into the new wage structure. He'd be earning less than the top earners: Van Dijk on £350,000 and Salah, who sets the ceiling at £400,000, but he'd be right up there with the stars of the new generation. Reports suggest Liverpool are ready to meet these demands without any unnecessary haggling. Why the urgency? Simple. Rivals are circling. We know Real Madrid and Atletico are keeping a close eye on the 25-year-old. No official bids are on the table yet, but you know the drill. When clubs like that start sniffing around, you need to lock your assets down. Losing a player like him now would be a disaster, and no amount of penny pinching would justify it. On top of that, the Reds' bosses are clearly trying to avoid past mistakes. We all remember the stress around Trent's contract situation. Now we're seeing something similar with Ibou Konate entering the final stages of his deal. The last thing the club needs is a SZOBOSZLAI saga on top of all that. Liverpool's stance here is firm and pragmatic. Get it done quickly, pay the man what he's worth, and build Arne Slot's long-term project around a proven leader. This isn't just spending money, it's an investment in stability. And if they can tie Dominic down soon, it sends a massive statement to the rest of the squad. Phil Foden's rapid rise hasn't just impressed City fans, it's caught the eye of scouts in Madrid too. Ekrem Konur reports that Real Madrid are making a serious move for the Englishman. They're reportedly pushing hard for a deal and have already reached out to City's camp. Surprisingly, City didn't slam the door shut immediately. Instead, they named a price that brings everyone back down to earth. They're willing to let Foden go, but only for 180 million euros. Let's face facts, that is absolute madness. For context, his market value right now sits at around 80 million. Paying 180 is extremely questionable. Frankly, I'd hesitate even at 80 million. Phil has proven to be, let's put it politely, a deeply inconsistent asset. He's world-class one week, missing in action the next. Just look at his valuation. Back in late 2024, he was priced at a staggering 150 million. A short while later, he's dropped to 80. That's nearly a 50% drop, and something tells me that number is only going one way. It's not that he's forgotten how to play football. The issue runs deeper. Foden, strange as it sounds, is too reserved, too low profile for Real Madrid. They need Galacticos, they need media flair, and Phil just isn't that guy. There could be serious struggles with adaptation. But even ignoring the psychology, that 180 million price tag makes zero financial sense. You know what else makes zero sense? A viewer who's watched 100 of our videos but still refuses to subscribe. You're acting like Real Madrid. You turn up, you watch, you show interest, but you won't close the deal. Unlike City, I'm not setting a crazy price. Subscribing costs €0, £0, zero effort. Well, almost zero. You do have to lift a finger and smash that button. I believe in you. Back to City. While the hierarchy is quoting a price, in reality, they view Foden as strictly untouchable. His contract runs until 2027, and sources say the club has no intention of actually entertaining offers. That 180 to 200 million figure? It's just a hands-off warning designed to scare away buyers. If someone actually paid that, it would shatter the transfer record. But logic says it won't happen. In fact, City are accelerating work on what's being called a lifetime contract. The goal is to get it signed before summer 2026. It would be a landmark deal, bumping Foden's wages to a colossal £400,000 a week. That would make him one of the highest-paid players in Premier League history, right alongside City's biggest stars. From a tactical and image standpoint, selling Foden would be more than just losing a player, it would shift the club's entire identity. Phil is one of our own, an academy product, the fans' representative on the pitch. Selling him would trigger a massive backlash. The only way this happens is if Pep Guardiola leaves. But as long as Pep is there, Foden isn't going anywhere. The consensus at the Etihad is clear. Phil will choose loyalty, sign the record deal, and likely retire as a one-club man. Trying to buy him for 200 million is hardly a smart move for Pérez. There are safer, cheaper options out there. But if any Real Madrid fans are watching, drop a comment below. What do you think about Foden in white? Do you want him for that kind of money, or is it too risky? Let's get a debate going in the comments. Right now, Julian Alvarez is, without a doubt, Atletico Madrid's most valuable asset. And truth be told, Atleti got away with highway robbery signing him for just 75 million euros. In today's inflated market, where potential alone costs 100 million, that fee is absolute peanuts. It's a bargain for a player with an uncanny knack for fitting into any football philosophy. It doesn't matter if it's River Plate's aggression, Pep Guardiola's total control, or Diego Simeone parking the bus in his own penalty box. Alvarez delivers numbers everywhere. At Atletico, a team that, let's face it, treats attacking as a secondary concern, the Argentine has bagged 40 goals in 18 months. Skeptics will say, well, those aren't Mbappé numbers. True, but their roles are completely different, and the amount of dirty work Alvarez does is off the charts. That efficiency in Cholo's defensive system has predictably alerted every giant in Europe, and here's the problem. Winning trophies at Atletico is a grind. Alvarez's move raised eyebrows at the time. A World Cup winner and treble winner joining a club with only 8 trophies in 16 years? It looked odd, but the logic was there. Simeone is the godfather of Argentine football, and he promised Julian a leading role. But the reality is harsh. At Atletico, the trophy cabinet fills up slowly and Alvarez has champion-level ambition. That's why a summer exit looks highly likely. Ideally, he fits the Arsenal profile perfectly. Tactically, he's an Arteta player. He presses like a machine and finishes his chances. We know Arsenal have already signed Victor Gyökeres, but let's be real. Arteta is trying to force him into a role that doesn't fit. So far, the Swede looks more concerned with keeping his hair perfect than impacting the game. Alvarez, on the other hand, would thrive in that system. The only catch? He left Man City to stop being just a cog in a system. That makes Chelsea a tempting, albeit chaotic, option. The Mirror says they've entered the race. No surprise there, transfer rule number 1. If Arsenal want him, Chelsea will try to hijack the deal. Both clubs can pay the fee, and we know Chelsea don't count Todd Boehly's money too carefully. But there's a third wild card: Barcelona. The advantages are obvious. La Liga, the language, the lifestyle, and arguably a better shot at big trophies than in London. The problem? The classic Catalan issue: money. The club is currently in austerity mode, selling anything not nailed down to the Camp Nou floor. However, whispers from the Camp Nou suggest Barca are just 10 million euros away from returning to the 1-to-1 spending rule. If that's true, everything changes. We've heard these financial fairy tales before, but with the new stadium and a decent Champions League run, they might actually pull it off. Politically, it's a masterstroke for Joan Laporta. Stealing a rival's best player and giving the fans a new hero ahead of the elections? That's a transfer that markets itself. The only thing left to do is find the cash. Newcastle are staring down the barrel of another major crisis, and this time, the spark could be Sandro Tonali. The Italian has made his stance unmistakable. Either the club secures Champions League football, or he's looking for a new challenge. It's looking critical for the Magpies. Arsenal and Manchester City are already waiting in the wings, ready to exploit the chaos at St. James's Park. Football Insider reports that Tonali is ready to push for an exit this summer. And honestly, the Newcastle hierarchy must be getting serious déjà vu. The club still hasn't fully recovered from the summer drama with Alexander Isak. We all remember how the Swede backed the club into a corner, effectively forcing his move to Liverpool. Newcastle had to cave in at the deadline to avoid being stuck with an unhappy player. Now, Tonali seems to be borrowing from that exact same playbook. The irony? Tonali was signed to be the cornerstone of this new era, yet he might be the next brick to crumble. On the pitch, things aren't helping. That loss to Brentford dropped them to 12th, leaving them a massive 11 points adrift of the Champions League spots. Let's be blunt, closing a gap like that in the Premier League is next to impossible given how packed the table is. Tonali knows this. He wants guarantees of elite football and silverware, not a scrap for the Conference League. Right now, he seems settled in England, but ambition is taking over. Without that Champions League anthem, keeping a player of his caliber is wishful thinking. Arsenal were interested back in January, but Newcastle refused to budge. Arteta clearly sees the Italian as the perfect fit for his engine room, and that interest hasn't gone away. But the real scary prospect for the Toon Army is Manchester City. Pep Guardiola is planning a massive midfield overhaul this summer. He needs proven quality that can deliver instantly. Tonali, with his work rate and tempo control, ticks every single box for City. His agent is playing it smart, keeping things vague, creating that fog of uncertainty. But make no mistake, if the project stalls, the pressure will mount. The only stumbling block is the fee. Newcastle don't want to sell. Tonali is tied down until 2029, giving them huge leverage. They paid £55 million for him, so it would likely take a bid north of £100 million to even get them to the table. But we know all about City's financial muscle, and Arsenal have shown they can find the cash for priority targets. The biggest headache for Newcastle isn't just losing the player, it's where he goes. Strengthening a direct rival is basically shooting yourself in the foot. But as the Isak saga proved, when a top player decides he's done, he's done. It's just a question of how messy it gets before the deal happens. If Tonali decides to dig his heels in over the Champions League, no contract until 2029 will stop the exodus of quality from St. James's Park. The Mohamed Salah saga looks to be entering its final chapter. According to the Mirror, Saudi Pro League clubs are preparing an offer that is basically impossible to turn down. We're talking insane money for a move to the Middle East. Let's look at the facts. Salah is already a Liverpool legend. In 9 years at Anfield, he's won everything there is to win. Last summer, he signed a new contract and everyone thought the story was over. Wrong. Right now, the Egyptian earns £400,000 a week at Liverpool, massive money in the Premier League, but the Saudis are ready to triple that figure. Just think about it. 3 times £400,000 a week. That's a completely different level of financial freedom, even for a multi-millionaire. Why is this surfacing right now? Simple. Under Arne Slot, things are not going well for Mo, to put it mildly. The old chemistry is gone. There is clear tension between player and manager that has turned into a genuine rift. We all remember that explosive interview at the end of last year. It was obvious then that Salah was unhappy with his role in the new system. And when a player of his caliber is unhappy, keeping him becomes almost impossible. There's another huge factor: Cristiano Ronaldo. Rumors say the Portuguese star could return to Europe soon. That would be a massive PR blow for the Saudi league. They urgently need a new face, a new superstar to front the project. Salah is the perfect candidate, an icon in the Muslim world. Still a top-level player in excellent shape. They will pay whatever it takes to fill that void. Now look at it from Liverpool's perspective. Saving Salah's gigantic salary is incredibly tempting, plus there's transfer value. His contract runs until 2027, so right now they can still demand a very serious fee. The Liverpool top brass knows the Saudis will move from interest to concrete action in the coming months. This is a golden chance to monetize and reset the wage bill. Ideally, Liverpool would want to close the deal before Salah joins up with Egypt for the World Cup, avoiding any risk of injury or change of mood. Remember 2023? Al-Ittihad came in with a monster bid and the club said no. This summer, the attempt will come again, but the context has changed completely. The conflict with Slot and the chance to earn the biggest payday of his career could be the decisive factors for Mo himself. It really feels like the Salah era at Anfield is finally coming to an end. Barcelona have decided to completely overhaul their defense and they're targeting a massive name. According to the Daily Briefing, the Catalans are showing concrete interest in Lisandro Martinez. The situation at Old Trafford right now is fascinating. Licha is 28, and he's been at United since 2022. Remember, he was Erik ten Hag's very first signing? A lot has changed since then. Michael Carrick is now running the show, and under him, the Argentine has genuinely rediscovered his best form after that nightmare injury spell. But let's not kid ourselves. Barcelona's interest didn't come out of thin air. Their defense this season has been a headache. They don't just need a body at the back, they need a ball-playing elite. And in that specific role, Martinez is arguably the ideal match for their possession-based style. His left foot and passing range? Absolute world-class, no debate. Quick pause, guys hit like or dislike, whatever you feel, every reaction helps the channel massively. Thanks for the support. Officially, Manchester United's stance is firm, not for sale. It's the classic market line we've heard 1,000 times. But reports from behind the scenes paint a different picture. Lisandro's contract runs until 2027 with a club option for one more year, so there's no panic at Old Trafford yet. However, his camp is starting to make noise. His agents know this window might be the last real chance for him to land a mega contract or secure a move to the Spanish Sun. Sources close to Barca are far more optimistic than the English press. They believe the player is open to the move. That leaves United with a tough choice. Take the profit this summer at his peak value, or risk a drawn-out contract saga with an unhappy player. And here's where the Sir Jim Ratcliffe factor kicks in. Everyone knows the new ownership is all about sustainability and smart business. Transfermarkt values him at 35 million euros, but reliable sources say United would listen to offers around 55 million euros. So the real question is, do you turn down 55 million euros for a 28-year-old center-back with his injury record? Remember, he missed 10 whole months. That's massive. He's fit now, but no doctor can guarantee it won't happen again. United have decent depth at center-back, so selling him for 55 million euros would honestly be outstanding business. Pure pragmatism. Take the money, reinvest in younger, fitter profiles. From a football perspective, it makes sense too. In the Premier League, his height has always been a talking point. He's a warrior, the butcher, but you can't fight physics in aerial duels against Premier League giants. La Liga is different. Fewer crosses, less physical battering, and much more emphasis on passing and reading the game. Spanish football could actually suit him better. For Barcelona, center back is the one position they cannot get wrong this summer. They need a proven elite player right now. Martinez is exactly that, medically risky, yes, but stylistically perfect. So, ignore the public not for sale noise. Privately, everyone knows. If 55 million euros lands on the table, the deal gets done. United bank a huge profit, Barcelona fix their defense, and Carrick keeps building. The only mystery left is whether Barca, with all their financial issues, can actually find the cash.